Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thank you for stopping by. I hope the week's gone well. It's hot again here, real hot, but then I was seeing the weather in the UK is hot as well. Let's move on to Africa. Algerian President Abdelaziz Bouteflika will submit his official application to seek re-election on March the 3rd, Reuters is reporting. Of course, he suffered a stroke, rarely seen, and hasn't said anything for about 5 years or 4 years. President al-Bashir's catch-22. This is interesting. This is from Fromage Homme, Nick Cheeseman. Every bullet fired undermines the potential for the economic investment and recovery that he needs to get the protesters to go back to their homes. He is fueling the same uprising he is repressing. This is indeed an irony and a paradox. I was writing about him the 21st of January, and I was quoting this tweet from Daloya, an old revolutionary song, "We sing in our prison as you tremble in your castle." I called him in that article a political Harry Houdini, otherwise he would not have lasted more than 3 decades. But I said it's clear these are the last days, or the end times. Very curious developments in Botswana and Zimbabwe. President Masisi went to meet with President Mnangagwa. Thank you for your friendship, thank you for your support. As the new Zimbabwe finds its feet, we know that this is not a journey that can be traversed alone, said President Mnangagwa. The days of isolationism are behind us. We're opening up to the region and the world. Now, prior to that, there was an article saying that the Swans had offered $600 million to Zimbabwe. Then subsequently, this Botswana government press release, and then saying media reports that are currently circulating about the line of credit worth $600 million that the government of Botswana has committed itself to extend to the Republic of Zimbabwe are unfounded. I thought it was a super trade, $500 million secured against diamonds. That way, Botswana, of course, is an economy built on diamonds, and you maintain control over a huge amount of potential supply. So I thought that was clever. And then you throw in another $100 million. It allows you to maintain leverage over that Zimbabwean diamond supply. So let's see how that develops. Zimbabwe fuel crisis worsens. Hundreds of Zimbabweans are queuing for fuel again as the shortage worsens in the country. 21st of January, it was the petrol price hike which was the proximate cause and ignited the already dry tinder on the ground, Piers Pigu. Blow for Zimbabwe as South African banks pull dollar supply plug. In 2018, central bank governor revealed that Zimbabwe has over the past few years lost 102 correspondent banking relationships due to high country risk. And now the concern, I think, with these South African banks is US sanction law. The only bank which was still giving us cash as FNB Bank, and just in December they told us that they will no longer be supplying us with US dollars. I'll take you back to that article from the 21st of Jan where I was saying there's a correlation between high inflation and revolutionary conditions. But I was also quoting Mr. Sapiens, money is accordingly a system of mutual trust, and not just any system of mutual trust. Money is the most universal, most efficient system of mutual trust ever devised. Cowrie shells and dollars have value only in our common imagination. Their worth is not inherent in the chemical structure of the shells and paper, or their color, or their shape. In other words, money isn't a material reality, it is a psychological construct. It works by converting matter into mind. South African all shares up 6.75% this year, that's been a good start. Dollar Rand, this is a 1-year chart, last at 13.9555. Naspers is spinning off its African pay TV multi-choice at an initial value of $3 billion. A long way since founding MultiChoice in 1985. And of course, Naspers made a bundle because of this jackpot investment in Tencent That 31% stake is now valued at $129 billion, more than Naspers as a whole, and an effort to close the deficit is one of the reasons behind the MultiChoice spin-off. The problem for MultiChoice, which has its streaming service Showmax, is Netflix. And Netflix are playing at a different level, and I think I would not be a keen buyer of MultiChoice right now. Their product pricing is way too high. This is a momentous time for our business. This marks the next chapter in our development and growth, said the CEO, Calvo Mawela. Egyptian pound is at 17.512. Atiku Abubakar has rejected the results of Nigeria's presidential election. He will challenge his loss to Buhari in court. This is his statement via Paul Wallace. And the big story in Nigeria really was the turnout. I mean, it's shockingly low. It was just 36% compared to about 45% last time. Nigerian all shares up 2.59% year to date. Ghana Stock Exchange down 3.16% year to date. Once again, gold was the leading export commodity, fetching Uganda the most revenue of $514.8 million. 10,380 kilograms sold the previous year, and last year 13,216 kilograms. Where that gold is coming from is not Uganda. Tanzania has banned the publication of the Citizen newspaper for 7 days, effective yesterday, after it published a story on the depreciation of the Tanzanian shilling. This is a chart of the Tanzanian shilling, a longer one. You can see it's depreciated quite a lot. This is an image of the front page of the newspaper that incurred the wrath of the government. That's via Mtega. And I was tweeting Zito Kabwe, and I said the lesson is actually an old one. You can't buck the markets, as Mrs. Thatcher once said. And I then take you from the Tanzanian chart, look at that. Now look at the Kenyan shilling chart, you'll see it's much stronger. And this is a point, I think we underestimate the regional safe haven status that the Kenyan shilling is at. And, and I think that one of the reasons is what you're seeing in Tanzania. And I still maintain that a move below 100 would catch a lot of people off guard, but I think the central bank is sort of stopping that at the moment. Kenya may arrest 2 ministers over loss of dam funds. At least 2 Kenyan cabinet secretaries are facing arrest for their alleged role in 2 dam projects through which public funds were misappropriated. 2 dam projects by the state-owned Kerio Valley Development Authority were to cost $502 million, partly financed through a loan from the Italian government. A 15% advance payment was made to the contractor. Both projects are on schedule for completion within the agreed period, but it's turning out a lot of money was misappropriated. The withdrawal of the MFN status by India to Pakistan following the recent terrorist attacks in Kashmir is seen resulting in making dearer the daily use of things like tea and tomatoes. So this is good for Kenya. As exports of Indian tea slowed down, Pakistan is seen relying more on imports of the beverage from Kenya. Pakistan imports about 65 to 70 million kilograms of tea from Kenya annually. And the prices rose yesterday by 12 to 15. That must be rupees a kilogram. That's interesting. The last time Kenya seriously boomed, well, a long time ago, was in the 70s when, off the back of coffee, of course. There's not much meaningful coffee grown anymore. East African Portland Cement reported first half earnings per share was a loss of 14 shillings and 23 cents versus a loss of 10 shillings and 55 cents last time. Half-year revenue slumped 55.19% to 1.372 billion. Administration and selling expenses expanded 18.383%. Loss after tax 1.266 billion versus 969.573 million last time, both times a loss. Cash and cash equivalents negative 946.777 million. They said the first half of the year reflected a difficult business environment on the backdrop of increased input prices, a sluggish market, as well as production challenges. Look, they've been in dysfunction for quite a while, but they have on the balance sheet a lot of land which would make them debt-free. But I don't think making them debt-free is going to help them expand in the cement business anyway. Kenya shilling round about 100.3. Nairobi all share up 10.08% year to date. NSE 20 up 3.48% year to date. Thank you so much for stopping by.